So, everybody, welcome. Good afternoon. Wow, Arsenal's moving faster than normal. Martin Zubamendi. That's how I feel about it. I'm like that. Is it a striker? No, 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 no. Is he on a free? No. Do we get him off price? No. Do we have to near enough pay 60 million, 55, 60 million straight up? Yeah. How much are we going to spend in some of them? Because I look at that and think, let's just call it 55 million. And release clause, majority of the time has to be paid in full, kind of straight away. So I look at that and think, right, where's the positives first? Before I go any further, happy birthday, 56 years old today, to the, in my personal opinion, the greatest football player what has ever graced the Premier League. And people will chuck, obviously not for a long time, but Eric Cantona in there, Thierry Henry. There's loads. I mean, Aguero, Shearer. There's plenty. But for the natural given talent and the things he did and made it look effortless, Dennis Bergkamp to me is the bestest footballer, the greatest footballer what has ever played in this Premier League. The greatest player to ever play in the Premier League. And Thierry Henry's second. And people say, oh, well, just because you're an Arsenal, look at my videos. Leeds United, video on them. Newcastle, video on them. Manchester United, video on them. Brentford, video on them. Aston Villa, video on them. I am definitely not one of them Arsenal fans where it's all about Arsenal or PGMOL, Costas League or injuries, VAR, etc. Trust me, I do not speak like that about Arsenal. I will criticise them big time when they need criticising and obviously praise them when needed. But the greatest footballer, in my personal opinion, to ever play in the Premier League is Dennis Bergkamp. Not like he didn't even get out of second gear a lot of games and did things where he just like, what have we just seen? Wow. The goal against Leicester, the goal against Newcastle, the goal against Southampton, I think it was. There's the way he's I think it was a European team, I can't remember, and the way he's got the ball, and it was like, how do I explain this? The way he passed a ball once in a European game, and it was like his ankle were breaking. It looked like he was going to break his ankle because he kind of like went like that and like just dabbed the ball onto the floor, but it kind of like lifted. It looked like he was going to break his ankle the way he did, and just some of the things what he's done, man. I mean, the goals where he's chipped the keeper, where he's in a tight gap, he's trying to get away through it, and his next minute's going left to right on both of his feet, and next minute he's all closing, got everybody around him, and boom, turns his body a little dink straight over at keeper. I think that was against Leeds, I'm not sure. And the goal for the Netherlands against Argentina, which was similar to the Leicester goal. Not as good, but it was similar. Man, this guy is just... It was joy to watch this guy. Joy to watch him. Even the way he spoke and everything. Recently on that awards, what he's won, it was fantastic just to actually see him talking, you know. He comes across a little bit shy, but what a guy. I think Ian Wright said when they were signing him from Inter Milan, Wrighty pulled up at a petrol station and there was a big car there, 4x4, and he thought, who's that? They like kind of parking in wrong area. They're not like in the right place where they should be to obviously to fill up. And I think Wrighty had heard about him, like obviously, but he didn't think it was going to happen, or it happened next minute. Dennis gets out of the car, and like Wrighty's talking to him, you know what I mean, and then they shared rooms with him like over years. I mean, if that guy would have flew, wow, that could have been a different story. If Dennis Bergkamp would have flew, that could have been a different story for Arsenal. In our European football days, that could have been a different story. But anyway, happy birthday to the best player what's ever played in the Premier League, Dennis Bergkamp. For me, I just can't say any other. He was just absolutely magical. The stuff he did, how tight the ball was, and out the areas he was where he was having 2-3 round him, and he's like left, right, turn, bang, gone, dinked over keeper. I think, how the did he just do that? Like, I mean, he's back to goal. He's going to a left, he's going to a right, he's going with his body, left and right. He's all closed in, like you're in a phone box, trying to get out. Next minute, spins a little bit of a turn, part of his body, gets to spin a tiny little bit, boom, chips it straight to the keeper. I mean, how the hell did that work? How does that happen? So, Martin Zubimendi, the positives. Depth for Arsenal's squad, of course. That is facts. 5'11". I prefer him to be 6 foot in middle, but 5'11's okay. 26-year-old, great age, brilliant age. They always used to say 27 is when a football can achieve it is prime, and I agree with that. So that's a couple of positives. Another positive is it seems like it was sold on the Arsenal project, but then again, we're getting these fans straight away. Oh, yes, all over social media straight away. We beat Liverpool to the signing of Martin Zubimendi. We beat Real Madrid. Ha ha ha. Do you know that? Do you actually know that Liverpool concretely, is that a word? That Liverpool was so into Martin Zubimendi that they wanted to definitely sign, that there was concrete talks, genuine interest, that there were legs on it, and everything, like I said, was in concrete, that there was going to go for Martin Zubimendi. Do you actually know that Liverpool wanted Martin Zubimendi completely? Or did you just see an article like I seen last year, when would it have been? In transfer window, and then think, oh yeah, Liverpool. So what they've done now is they've remembered that, and now it's because they have to glorify it and gaslight everything and make it like something what it isn't. Oh yeah, well we beat Liverpool to Martin Zubimendi. We beat Real Madrid, but did we? Was it really in for him? Were the concrete talks on Liverpool? Were the concrete talks on Real Madrid? Did Real Madrid really want him? Or will Real Madrid go and sign someone better? Has Liverpool got a better midfield than Arsenal? Yes, they have. McAllister and Gravenberch have been levels above Arsenal midfield this season. And I will say this, because I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself. I want Thomas Partey at this football club next season because Declan Rice and Thomas Partey are world class individually. And we've seen spells where they've been world class together as a partnership. Now I'm hoping that carries on and blossoms and materialises into something brilliant. Just like we have at the back with Gabriel Saliba. Excuse me. I'm hoping that happens. Is it rare to have a world class centre-back partnership and a world class midfield partnership? I'd say, in a way, yes. But that's where you're getting the spine of your team perfect. And we haven't yet. Our midfield has been a bit unbalanced towards the start of the season. It started to balance out a little bit towards the end of the season. But Gabriel and Saliba, obviously, we know about them. They're world class. And if I mention them, it makes me want to come on to them because I'll end up start going into a conversation about them. I personally believe William Saliba is going to leave Arsenal in summer. I really do, because he's got all the cards now. He will hold the club to whatever his demands are, and if he don't sign a new contract and he's not willing to by end of summer, then already valuations just going boom, 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 boom. Right now he's worth 100, 110, 120 million. As soon as that summer window's shut and we start new season, that's gone to 90 million straight out like that. Then it's January, then you're talking 80 million. Before you know it, you're going to get 50 million for William Saliba, which is 23 million profit. That's shit. That's absolutely shocking. That is absolutely ridiculous. And Arsenal are absolutely horrendous at selling players. They are so bad at selling players. So, with this Martin Zubimendi, there's the positives. Good age, 5'11", good height. Got a lot of experience, which I didn't mention, sorry. And obviously, he plays for the Spanish national team. Not always a starter, but. The negatives are, which shows on this thumbnail, he's not a striker. He's not a striker. And it just makes me, when I hear about Arsenal signing a player over years, I'm like, yes, good. Have I heard of him? No. I'll hold my hands up. I'm not one of these who pretend. If I know a player, I'll tell you straight out, and I'll tell you I've watched him 2 years, 3 years ago, whatever. Like I mentioned to Leeds fans, I seen Largi Ramazani against Real Madrid tearing him a new one. He bossed Real Madrid for Almeria 2 years ago, and I told my boss, this guy who you're going to sign, Largi Ramazani, for Leeds United, is brilliant. And I was correct. I was right. Even though something's happened at that club, and that's obviously something's happened with Leeds and Ramazani. He's just not getting a game. But it's just a perfect example. I will tell you if I've seen a player. And if I haven't, I'll look on YouTube, and I'm not one of these who pretend, well, look at all these, and this, and what I've seen of this player. I know all about him. No, you don't. You just watch him on YouTube. But this is the thing with a lot of these fans, what are just Arteta fans only. They tell so many lies, it's crazy. Like Adam Keys, Rory Talks BS on Twitter. Yeah, I'll name him. The amount of lies they come out with, and all they've done is spoke that many lies and got a following, and now they'll just say anything because they know these vulnerable fans, what they've brainwashed, will like anything. And I think it's absolutely disgusting that they lie every single time. Nothing what they say actually happens. This is the thing. This is what I don't get. Everything what they say never happens. It just don't happen. So, Zubimendi, this is the negatives. He's not a striker. I couldn't care less, to be honest, about signing Martin Zubimendi until I see a striker at this football club. And then a backup for Saka. And then a replacement for Martinelli. I hate to say it, but it's true. Martinelli cannot start for Arsenal next season. He cannot start for Arsenal next season. It's just a player what I really like. You know, you can tell he loves the club, seriously loves Arsenal, but no, he will not start for Arsenal. In my opinion, he has to be on the bench as a squad player. So, Martin Zubimendi, there's the negatives. Not a striker. Not I couldn't care less, actually, about signing Martin Zubimendi. Normally, yes, we've signed this, signed that player. I couldn't give a shit about signing Martin Zubimendi. Unless I see a strike at my football club, first time for a year, a backup for Saka, first time in 3 years, and then a replacement for Martinelli. And then I want a replacement or someone to challenge Martin Odegaard. I want that front line stacked, and I mean stacked. And when I say stacked, we need a striker, we need a backup for Saka, and we need a winger what can replace Martinelli. And then we also need a backup for Martin Odegaard. So, personally, I think you can either get away with signing a backup for Saka, what can play both wings, or it's a backup for Saka and a left winger. But then I still want someone like Eze. I still want a backup for Martin Odegaard, or someone who can replace Martin Odegaard for when he's playing shit like he has been this season. Say, right, get out, someone else take his place. But I do not want Ethan Nwaneri on that bench much last season. I don't care what anyone says about his age. It's a load of shit. The facts are players now all over the world are playing it, bossing it at 17-year-old, 18-year-old. I do not care what people say about Ethan when you're his age. He is good enough to play for this Arsenal football team, and he's proven it this season, scoring goals. So, yep, here we go. As the famous words from Fabrizio. Martin Zubimendi signs for Arsenal. Couldn't care less because it's not a striker. It's not a backup for Saka. It is what it is. Decent midfielder. Nothing special to me. I've watched him a few times, even at Real Sociedad when I used to watch all football. Not bothered, not striker. And happy birthday to the greatest footballer that's ever played in the Premier League, Dennis Bergkamp. Enjoy your day, everybody.